You're sitting beside her, thinking the moment is calm, safe, predictable. She smiles the way she always does, gentle, soft, almost innocent. The kind of smile that makes you believe you understand her. The kind of softness that convinces you desire is simple, linear, easy to read. But then it happens, so quietly you almost miss it. A look that lingers half a second too long. A pause in her breathing, like her body just remembered something her mind wanted to forget. A spark in her eyes that doesn't match the expression on her face. And suddenly, the woman sitting in front of you isn't the same one you knew yesterday. Something ancient slides up from beneath the surface, something she never talks about, something she pretends doesn't exist. You think you understand her desire. You think lust obeys the rules you've been taught. But the truth hits you like cold steel. You've only met the version she allows men like you to see. There is another side to her, buried under layers of politeness, conditioning, and social masks. A personality of pure instinct. Untamed, unfiltered, uncontrolled. The part of her that doesn't care about right or wrong, approval or judgment, reputation or restraint. And when that personality takes over, everything you thought you knew about women collapses. Because what you're about to see isn't the woman she shows the world. It's the one she keeps locked away, even from herself. What you saw in that moment, that shift in her eyes, that sudden quiet electricity, wasn't random. It was the fracture line between the two selves she spends her entire life managing. Because every woman carries two lust personas, and most men only ever encounter the one that's safe, polished, and socially acceptable. The first is the social lust persona, the version she performs for the world, shaped by reputation, expectations, and the image she's been trained to protect. This persona is controlled, predictable, polite. It prefers order, stability, and the illusion of moral purity. It says things like, "I'm not that kind of girl," even when her fantasies betray the opposite. This is the persona that smiles in public, that filters her own desires, that takes the rawness of her instincts and compresses them into something society won't punish. This is the version of her you thought was the whole truth. But the second persona, the one most men never awaken, is the primitive lust persona. And this one doesn't care about rules, reputations, or the good girl identity she's spent decades constructing. This persona is wild, impulsive, desire-driven. It moves with instinct, not logic. It chooses men based on biology, not morality. It emerges only when she meets someone who disrupts her emotional equilibrium, someone who shakes her certainty, challenges her safety, and awakens the part of her that still remembers she is an animal before she is anything else. This is the version of her that scares her, excites her, and exposes truths she doesn't want to admit. Not to you, not to society, and not even to herself. And here's the real twist. These two personas don't fight each other. They coexist, switching control depending on the kind of man standing in front of her. One persona wants comfort. The other wants chaos. One wants emotional safety. The other craves the man she can not predict. And the real question, the one most men never dare to ask, is painfully simple. Which version of her responds to you? The two personas weren't created by accident. They exist because a woman lives between two forces that pull her in opposite directions, conditioning and evolution. And every moment of her life is a silent negotiation between the two. The social persona is the product of conditioning so deep, she mistakes it for her personality. From the time she's a girl, she's told what good looks like. Parents teach her to be polite. School teaches her to follow rules. Religion teaches her to restrain her impulses. Society teaches her that her value depends on being chosen, approved of, accepted. So she builds a mask, a careful, polished identity designed not to reflect who she is, but to protect her from judgment. This persona exists to maintain order, emotional order, social order, reputational order. It tells her to behave, to smile, to deny the very instincts that pulse beneath the surface. But beneath that conditioning lies the primitive persona, a force older than language, older than culture, older than every rule she's been taught to obey. This persona is not interested in being good. It doesn't care about her image, her reputation, or the narrative she presents to the world. It cares about survival, reproduction, and the ancient arousal triggers wired into her biology long before civilization tried to tame them. This is why her desire doesn't always make sense, not to you, and not even to her. Because these two personas don't coexist peacefully, they collide, they contradict, and they expose the truth she tries to hide even from herself. She acts innocent, but her fantasies wander into places her words refuse to go. She demands stability, yet her body responds strongest to unpredictability. She says she wants a nice man, yet something in her lights up in the presence of the man she can't control. This internal war is the source of her confusion, her mixed signals, her sudden shifts in energy. And here's the truth most men never hear. Women do not lie to you first. They lie to themselves. Their biology exposes what their words cannot hide. When the primitive persona rises to the surface, it never announces itself with words. It leaks through her body language, through the micro shifts she hopes you're too distracted to notice. And most men are. They search for verbal confirmation, for something spoken, logical, obvious. But her primal self doesn't communicate in language. It communicates in instinct. The first signal appears in her eyes. They stop looking and start tracking. Her gaze becomes predatory, scanning your face, your hands, your frame, as if mapping the distance between the man you appear to be and the man her biology hopes you are. It's not curiosity, it's assessment. A primitive calculation happening beneath her awareness, driven by desire, danger, and possibility. The second signal slips into her voice. It drops slightly, softer, slower, warmer. Not flirtation, but a subconscious response tied to submission and arousal. Her body is speaking a truth her social persona would never dare admit. Then her movements change. They become smaller, controlled, but far more deliberate. She's conserving energy, narrowing her presence, signaling receptiveness without ever naming it. Instinct teaches her to shrink the chaos around her so she can feel the tension between you more clearly. The fourth signal is her sudden inability to engage in rational conversation. Logic shuts down when instinct takes command. She forgets her point mid-sentence. She laughs at nothing. She drifts, distracted, as if her mind has stepped aside to let something deeper take over. And then comes the final signal, the one men misinterpret most often. She tests you, hard, not to reject you, but to confirm you're real, to see if your confidence is stable or fragile, if it's rooted or performative. Because the primitive persona will not reveal itself to a man who cannot withstand pressure. These signs are subtle, but they are unmistakable once you learn to see them. And the truth is simple. A woman's most revealing signals are never verbal. They appear when the second persona pushes through her skin, desperate to be acknowledged. Most men never encounter the second persona for one simple reason: they are too safe. They approach women with predictability, politeness, and emotional softness, qualities society praises, but her primitive self ignores. Safety activates her social persona, the mask she uses to navigate the world without consequence. When a man is overly agreeable, overly available, overly cautious, she shifts into the version of herself that performs, not the version that feels. Women do not reveal instinct to men who make them feel in control. They reveal instinct to men who make them feel something else. And that is where most men fail. Because instead of creating tension, they start chasing. Chasing is the death of mystery. It makes your intentions obvious, your next move predictable, and your presence easy to categorize. When you chase, she no longer has to assess you. She already knows she has you. And predictability is the fastest way to keep her locked in the social persona, the one that treats you politely, kindly, respectfully, without ever letting desire touch the surface. Her primitive self only emerges when she feels destabilized, not unsafe, but uncertain. When she senses that you don't orbit her, when she cannot fully predict your emotional availability. That subtle uncertainty forces her out of her social mask and into instinct. Because instinct is what a woman uses when logic and control stop working. But the biggest mistake men make is trusting words instead of tension. Words speak to her mind. Tension speaks to her biology. A man who tries to convince her, explain himself, or verbally demonstrate his value awakens her logical persona: the evaluator, the negotiator, the rule follower. But a man who knows how to hold silence, how to maintain composure under pressure, how to be present without performing, bypasses her social programming entirely. And it's the bypassing that awakens her second persona. Most men never meet that version of her, not because she doesn't have one, but because they never become the kind of man who can pull it to the surface. Triggering her second lust persona isn't about tricks, lines, or manipulation. It's about removing the conditions that keep her trapped in the polite, controlled version of herself, the version built for society, not desire. And the first step is simple, but brutal. Stop giving her emotional certainty. Certainty is comfort. Comfort is predictability. And predictability kills instinct. When she knows exactly where she stands with you, her social persona takes over, managing the interaction with logic rather than biology. But when there is a sliver of uncertainty, not games, not withdrawal, just genuine self-possession, her primitive self wakes up, scanning for signals, trying to understand you, feeling tension she cannot articulate. The second step is to become the center of your own world. Not hers, not anyone else's. A man who prioritizes himself creates a natural power imbalance, not through dominance, but through gravity. Women feel it instantly. Her primitive persona responds to men who are grounded in themselves, not orbiting her. When your life, purpose, and emotional state don't hinge on her reactions, she senses a pull she can't quite place, a pull that forces her to reveal instinct instead of performance. Then comes the part most men fail. Speak less. Silence is pressure. Silence is mystery. Silence is the void in which her imagination fills the space with desire she can't rationalize. Words reassure her social persona. Silence disrupts it. When you do speak, You speak with intention, not to impress her, not to seek approval, but because you have something to say. Fourth, maintain calm during her emotional storms. When she tests you, challenges you, or tries to provoke a reaction, your steadiness signals something primal. Her social persona is used to being in control, but her primitive persona emerges only for a man whose presence she cannot emotionally destabilize. Calmness is not passivity. It is dominance without aggression. It tells her biology that you are unshakable. Finally, show depth instead of neediness. Depth is rare. Depth is attractive. Depth is gravity. Neediness is noise. When you carry inner weight, purpose, discipline, self-respect, she feels it. Desire doesn't respond to men who need her. Desire responds to men who can hold her. Because in the end, the truth is simple. You don't activate her wild persona by trying harder. You activate it by being a man her social mask cannot control. Most men walk through life believing women choose their reactions the way they choose their words, consciously, rationally, predictably. But desire doesn't work that way. Attraction doesn't ask for her permission, and the persona she shows you in any given moment isn't a decision she makes. It's a reaction her biology triggers. Men assume women evaluate them deliberately, but the truth is far more primal. Biology chooses for her. Long before she forms a thought, her nervous system is already responding. Long before she decides what she thinks about you, her instinct has already decided what she feels. And instinct doesn't negotiate. It doesn't compromise. It doesn't care about her plans, her morals, or the version of herself she's trying to uphold. This is why triggering the wrong persona has consequences. If you activate the part of her that feels unsafe, not physically, but emotionally, she will run, not because she doesn't want you, but because something inside her panics at the loss of control. Fear overtakes curiosity. Shame overtakes desire. Confusion overtakes honesty. She retreats into distance, excuses, silence, or sudden coldness, all because you stepped into territory her social persona wasn't prepared to navigate. When the wrong persona is triggered, she protects herself by disappearing, by rationalizing you away, by convincing herself you're too much, too fast, or not right for her, even if her body responded differently. The retreat isn't personal. It's biological self-preservation. But if you trigger the right persona, the instinctive one, the one buried under years of conditioning, everything changes. She will surprise you. More importantly, she will surprise herself. The same woman who acted cautious becomes bold, leaning in, asking questions, taking emotional risks she's never taken before. The woman who once hesitated becomes intense. Her energy sharpened, her presence heightened, her desire no longer filtered through politeness or fear. She becomes vulnerably honest, revealing thoughts, fantasies, and insecurities she normally hides, because the primitive persona doesn't fear emotional exposure, it craves it. And most striking of all, she becomes loyal in a way logic cannot explain. Not obedient, not submissive, but anchored, bound to the energy that awakened the part of her she hides from the world. This shift isn't something she plans or performs, it's something she experiences. She feels drawn, pulled, unsettled, yet safe, challenged, yet understood. She feels the rare shock of meeting a man who bypasses her defenses without harming her, who unlocks her instinct without destabilizing her inner world. And once that door opens, it doesn't close easily. This isn't attachment based on comfort. It's connection born from instinct, the deepest, rawest form a woman can feel. That is why this understanding comes with a warning. Her second persona isn't dangerous, it's just hidden, and only a rare kind of man meets it. Most men go their entire lives believing they've seen a woman fully, believing the version she shows them is the whole truth. They think they've understood her emotions, decoded her signals, mapped her desires. But what they've really experienced is the performance, the curated persona she uses to navigate a world that judges her for wanting what she actually wants. And because men accept that surface-level version as reality, they never notice the deeper current running underneath her words, her habits, her reactions. They never see the tension in her eyes when instinct tries to break through. They never see the shift in her body when desire threatens to override control. They never see the fire she fights to hide. The truth is simple. Most men only meet the woman she performs. Few meet the woman she truly is. One version seeks approval, social acceptance, emotional safety, predictability. The other seeks fire, tension, polarity, the man who can hold her instinct without flinching. And that second version, the real one, only appears for a man who knows how to read her beneath her words, a man who understands that her contradictions aren't flaws, but signals. A man who recognizes that her mixed messages aren't confusion, but conflict. The push and pull between conditioning and biology. A man who sees both sides without shrinking from either one. Because the truth you were never told is this: a woman's real desire awakens only for the man who can handle both. The soft and the wild. The polite and the primal. The persona she's learned to maintain, and the instinct she tries to suppress. When you understand that duality, you stop being confused by her shifts. You stop taking her words at face value while ignoring the truth her body shouts. You stop seeing her as inconsistent and start seeing her as layered, a creature shaped by thousands of years of evolution and a lifetime of expectation. And when you learn to hold both sides, not by force, not by manipulation, but by presence and grounded masculinity, something rare happens. She stops performing. She stops pretending. She stops hiding the intensity she thinks would scare you away. She lets you see her, the real her, the version of her that feels rather than thinks, the version that trusts rather than calculates, the version that steps out of safety and into desire because she senses you won't collapse under the weight of her instinct. Most men never experience that moment. They never witness the shift from social persona to primal truth. They never feel the difference between a woman acting interested and a woman whose biology has chosen them. But if you've made it this far, if you're drawn to this kind of knowledge, if you feel something in your chest while hearing these words, then you're not most men. You are someone standing on the edge of understanding women in a way few ever will. You're stepping into a world where you read instinct, not words, energy, not excuses, signals, not scripts. And if you keep going, you'll become the kind of man her conditioning can't control and her instinct can't ignore. So here's your invitation, spoken simply. If you want to understand the instincts women hide even from themselves, you're in the right place. If this opened your eyes, if it hit something in your chest that you didn't have words for until now, subscribe. If it reminded you of a woman in your past, a woman you still don't understand, share this with a brother who's still blind to the signals. And if you felt that shift in a woman before, that moment when her persona cracked and instinct poured through, write your experience in the comments. Some men talk about women. But here, we study the part no one else dares to look at. Welcome to Mind Principles,